What's up, guys? It's Tyler McKinney back here again, and today we're going to look at some college football and some new news that's come out today that's pretty interesting. We had some big wigs in the college ranks come out and make a decision. All right, well, if it's your first time here, hey, I'm glad to have you. If you're a return viewer, thanks for coming back and thanks for watching more videos. And if you haven't yet, please go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell notification so that you can get, you can be notified of all of my videos right away. Okay, let's not waste any more time. Let's get into it. So pretty much we had a whole bunch of NCAA decision makers. They all came together today, and guess what they said? They unanimously voted that to start the process of modifying its rule to allow college athletes to profit from their name, images, and likeness in a manner consistent with the collegiate model. Pretty much what does that mean? In terms that we all can understand, we'll look into it. Pretty much that's all they've done. Right now, they're kind of on the ropes. If you've been paying attention to the California bill that the legislatures in California unanimously passed, that pretty much that college athletes can go ahead and that they will be able to in 2023, that they'll be able to make money off of their likeness, their names, their images, their likeness. They'll be able to make money off of that. And that caused a real big stir within the NCAA. And actually, the NCAA has been kind of fighting this. And they have slowly been kind of realizing that they're losing the battle. And this is just kind of the next domino to fall. Well, here's the thing with it. Amateurism is this weird thing, and a lot of different people fall on a lot of different sides of the camp with this thing. And so it's one that I get is very delicate because it's not exactly like everything else, but unfortunately it lives in one of those realms where it really is. When you start looking at quote-unquote keeping things fair and what is law and how, making money, capitalism is, there are some things to be said about what a quote unquote college athlete can do and can't do compared to their counterparts who are going to school. So there is a lot of that type of stuff. But that's not necessarily the take I want to go. And I really don't want to dive much into, what I think or, should they or shouldn't they. What I want to really do is I really want to focus in on what's going on here and this whole thing where the NCAA pretty much came out and told California, listen, what you're doing is you're going down a path you don't need to be going down. It's going to be great consequences for you if you go through and you do this. And California was like, we're going to do it anyways. And then what happened was that sparked more states. And then the NCAA is like, well, we really don't like this, but we can kind of understand. And now they're kind of getting to where they're now all the way to the point because of so many different states. And now that we've got this federal bill, with this, I think he's a senator from North Carolina, Republican Congressman Mark Walker from North Carolina. Now it's presented this bill that looks like it's again probably going to get passed by both parties and get through fairly easily. So now they're dealing with. The NCAA is dealing with something, listen, that they've got to handle, they've got to take care of. And so they came out with this statement. But the reality of the statement is it's a bunch of hogwash, if you ask me. Let's go through, let's break down this first statement, all right? So they unanimously voted to start the process of modifying their rule. Okay, that sounds great. All right, they're open to change. We're gonna get some change. Okay, so far so good. Not any big deal here. To allow college athletes to profit from their names, images, and likenesses. That's pretty good. we've been kind of people have been kind of saying that for a while. Okay, so we kind of know what they're trying to do. Okay, so we're going to try to see, they're going to try to work with that to see, how they can figure it out for them to kind of profit off of it. The key word here is profit. What do they mean by profit? Is this going to be, monetary? I don't know, but using the word profit, would be like something to gain an advantage, to gain something. It's not money. They didn't come out and say money. They use the word profit. It could be money, but use the word profit. All right, now let's really get into the nitty-gritty of it, because this is the phrase that I'm very skeptical of. In a manner consistent with the collegiate model. And there you have it. Listen, they're not wanting to really change anything. They're not getting what they're wanting, but what's happening is they're having to kind of react. And so what they're saying is okay, we're going to look at things to try to change things, but we want it to be consistent with our collegiate model, i.e. we want it to be consistent with what we've got, with what we've set up, what we have here. We want to figure out how to make it work within our model, within what we've done, which I get you don't want to necessarily upset the apple cart, but the fact of the matter, it's not necessarily what's good for your institution. It's what's good for the people across the board. And so, I might be somebody that's on a different side of it than most people, but the fact of the matter is that coming out with this statement, pretty much all you're saying is you're open to change as long as it's within the bounds of your terms. Is kind of how I'm reading this, this quote from them. Goes on, and then we get a little bit more from the next paragraph from this article. The board directed the 3 separate divisions of the organization to immediately begin figuring out how to update their rules in a way that maintains a distinction between college and professional sports. So then again, they're right there. We can definitely tell that they are still trying to make this, figure out how they can still keep their model, and how that they can kind of make the changes to this rule to pretty much pacify those people out there that are trying to break down their system that they've had for years and the advantage that they have. I mean, the fact of the matter is they're wanting to have their cake and they want to eat it too. And so what they're doing now is they're trying to position themselves in such a way to show that, that they're really trying and that they're working, and maybe some of them are. I don't see it that way. I've never seen the NCAA be one to just really come out and do something. What I see a lot with the NCAA is very reactive. Everything's reactive, and they only do something when they absolutely have to, especially when it comes to collegiate sports. And without going into too much with it, the reality of it is this scares them, because it really does threaten their whole model and how they make money, especially off of athletics. And so for them, this is a big, scary thing. Now, I will give them a little bit of credit. For them to come out and say that they need to change their rules is a big deal. That's definitely the truth there. The key thing is they've got to figure out how they can make their money. And that's what they're doing. I mean, don't put this on the whole thing of, they're looking out for what's best for the student athlete and this and that. We're way far past that whole thing. I mean, that's laughable to put that out there, right now. The fact of the matter is that the colleges, the NCAA, right now they're trying to figure out a way to where they can allow the players to profit, whatever that means, off of themselves, but still be able to make money. Now, I don't know how that's going to happen, and I don't know how they're going to figure that out. But really, California put them on a timetable of 2023, which so they have a little less than 4 years to figure something out. And I would imagine that it'll probably be, I would say, somewhere around 2021 that will probably get something. The reason being is, like I had mentioned before, that the congressman from North Carolina, we've got Mark Walker. His bill, it looking like his bill is going to go through, and it's going to be something that both parties are going to vote for, and that it's going to go through. And if that is the case, that is going to force the NCAA to do different things and have to, and in their tax code in the way that they're doing. Let me read this real quick. It says, the U.S. Congressman Mark Walker, Republican, North Carolina, proposed a bill to change the federal tax code in a way that will likely force the NCAA to give all student athletes the right to sell their names, images, and likenesses. The current proposal would create an unrestricted market for college athletes to seek endorsement deals. Walker said earlier this month that he hoped to bring his bill to a vote in early 2020, which could mean it could go into effect in January 2021. So the fact of the matter is that we could see big changes come across the board in 2021. And, the NCAA has been kind of allowed to kind of run the show when it comes to student athletes and that for years, and now the government's starting to jump in there. And the NCAA, when you have control, people who have control don't like it when other people come in and take control from them. And you kind of saw that when we first started this process, them threatening California, and then other people jump on board, and then them pulling that back. So now they're trying to figure out how they can live within this, and trying to figure out what they're going to do when these bills goes through. Because the fact of the matter is now it's not going to be. It's going to be law. They're going to have to deal with federal law on this, and not just state law, but federal law. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens. And I'm sure something's going to figure out. They're going to figure out something with it that is going to benefit the NCAA, and that they're still going to be able to make their money, and they're still going to be able to make tons of money, and that the athletes are going to be able to profit somehow. How that is, I have absolutely no clue. So we have that. That's kind of the first thing. Now, another thing that this opens up, which is really interesting to me, is also if you are like me, you are a huge fan of the NCAA football games. And this is really giving something of kind of some excitement there, but then again, we've had excitement in the past and that with it. But this is opening up to where EA Sports is coming through and looking and saying that with these bills, if they do go through, that we could start to consider to remaking these games again. So if you're a person like me, I'm pretty excited about that. Like the college football game was what I played. I would play Madden, but college football is where I spent hours. I mean, I would play hours and hours on end. Like when I was a kid, like that was like my, that was like my winter vacation, when we were off Christmas break. Like, I don't know how many seasons of NCAA football I played. And, even as an adult, the fact of the matter is that, I still have my PS3 specifically so that I can play, if I want to, go through and play some NCAA football again. So it does open that back up for us again. So that's kind of a cool thing to me, that as kind of like a side note that I kind of want to see how that transpires and how things go with that. But really, like I said, I just kind of want to go back through and I just want to sum things up and just say that all in all, this is a good thing. This is something that needs to happen, and this is a discussion that is years behind and should have been happening years ago. But I don't think we're there yet. And just because the NCAA is coming out and saying that they know they need to change the rule doesn't mean that those of you who are wanting college players to be able to make money, that you're going to get that. And it doesn't mean that those of you who are wanting to keep amateurism the way that it is, that you're going to get that. It looks like we're probably going to get something in the middle, but it looks like both sides are starting to come together, and the lines that were drawn in the past aren't necessarily going to be there anymore. But right now, it's really nothing. And like I said, there's two phrases here that really stick out to me: in a manner consistent with the collegiate model. The second one is to update their rules in a way that maintains a distinction between college and professional sports. And if those are the two things that they're wanting to keep, the NCAA, they're wanting to keep and hold high, then you're really not going to see much change in the way of this. That's just my opinion. The question is, though, what's your opinion? I'd love to hear down in the comment section what you think about all this. If you think this is a good thing, a bad thing, I love hearing from you guys. And like I've always said, you guys come with more information than I usually have, and so you guys tend to even enlighten me on these subjects. So I'd love to hear from you down in the comment section. So leave some comments down there. Let me know what you think. All right, well, I know that you're busy and know that I'm busy, so let's get on out of here. You have a good night. Bye.